Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be doing a build on the channel, and this is a build that is sponsored by or provided by iFlight, so that is pretty awesome. So they have sent me the Strider V2, which we've already reviewed previously on the channel, and they've sent me their awesome new motors. These are 2207 2300 kV motors, and they seem like they're gonna be very powerful. The air gap is very tiny. The aluminum did not strip while I was tightening it. Hollow shaft, aluminum nuts. So it seems like it's good. Now mini quad test bench. I saw some of its stats and it looked pretty awesome actually. But the other one was the 2600 version. This is the 2300, so this should be even more powerful. So this is going to be very fun. And the motor wires are pretty thick also, and they're silicone, and they're very long, which is perfect. So we don't have to extend any wires. We're just gonna solder them on and just enjoy. So this should be a fairly quick build, since there's many parts to solder on, and it should be very good. So let's just take a look at the other components. So we already talked about the frame, we talked about the motor. They also provided me with this Ipeaka 35 amp 4-in-1 ESC, which is BL-Heli-S. It runs D-Shot 600 out of the box. It can run a 3-6S LiPo, and it has a 5-volt and 12-volt regulator. So we're going to be powering off our VTX and camera from this guy. And here we have the iFlight Reve B F4 flight controller. This does have a micro SD expansion as well as Betaflight OSD, which is very good. 2 10-ohm capacitors should be good with cleaning up. So yeah, another thing to note here, this is a heatsink, so that's very good, and it does have a current sensor. So yeah, so this is gonna be pretty interesting. All right, so let's check this out. So I've already been checking it out, and I've noticed something here. So we're gonna have to do something a little bit different. So if we take a look at this ESC, once it focuses. All right, you see there's motor 1 and then there's motor 2, okay? So we'd have to do this, all right? So this would be motor 1, this would be motor 2, and this is motor 3, and this is motor 4. However, I don't like this. Why? Because the wires are not going to be on the side. They're going to have to go inside somehow and get connected, and I really don't want to do that. So what we're going to have to do is switch it like this and put it in, or we could put it in even this way, it doesn't matter. So let's just say we're going to keep it like this to have the battery in the back, and if we take a look at it now, everything's going to be completely different. But this is a very simple fix. We don't have to play with the Betaflight CLI to switch resources and whatnot and all that kind of stuff. That's easy too, but I'm going to do something different. So here it says motor 2. So when we put this here, we're going to take the motor 2 wire and we're going to put it to motor 1 on the flight controller. So this way in the flight controller, it'll always know that motor 2 on this ESC is motor 1, and this way you never have to edit anything in Betaflight, and it'll just be perfect. So that's what we're going to be doing here shortly once we start. And what I'm going to do now actually is I'm going to get all the motors, put them on, and we're going to start soldering them onto the ESC here. And actually, let's start with the battery terminals. So I'm going to start with the battery terminals. I'm going to grab an XT60 connector with some wires and prepare that for us right now. It just looks quality, doesn't it? So we're all done with the ESC here. Now let's jump to the XT60 connector, this guy right here. So what we're going to do is actually I'm going to cut this guy a little bit more. Yeah. So let's do that now. And it was 14 gauge, so it was like smaller than 14 gauge actually. Alright, see? Let's check these guys. It's going to be very good. So we're going to solder them in like this. right there. You see that? So it's gonna go like that. So we're gonna add solder on these guys right here. And all right. Perfect. So this, make sure you take note of the polarity, and this should be good like this. Let that cool for a bit, and then we'll hit it again. It's very difficult on camera. Usually I don't do these on camera. There you go. So we have one in, as you can see right here. And this is good. It's actually very hot. So again, just taking out of the polarity. So we're gonna do the same with this guy now. There we go. Perfect. So we have this done now. Now what we can do is we're gonna get heat shrink, and then we just slide them on there, and we're gonna leave that for a little bit later actually, because we want to let them cool down. Or this will be perfect actually. So I'm gonna cut two pieces here. And if it's still hot, you want to just slide it as quick as possible, because it'll start shrinking right away if it's very hot. And what's cool is there's extra space in there that allow it to actually go in. So it's very good. And later on we could come hit this, or we could actually hit this right now with the hot air gun, and then just quickly get this out of the way. Perfect. So it's a little bit deformed, a little bit retarded here, but it's totally fine. So that ain't coming off anytime soon. Let's grab this guy now. Positive. It's right here. Let's double check if we did that right. So okay, red is positive and black is negative. So perfect. So this one can be annoying to do these kinds of the way the pads are here. So what we want to do is we want to keep this as small as possible, but not too small. Make sure the solder tip is clean here, and let's get started. There we go. I have my solder station at 370 degrees right now. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to increase it to around 420 just to make the heat transfer a lot faster to the ESC. And we could just stick these guys on right away. So they're going to go in like this, and we're going to start with this guy. So we're going to try to take advantage of the little concaved area they had before, and that's the goal here. Okay. Okay, so that's somewhat good. And what we want to do is actually we want to come in. Alright guys, so we got the XT60 connector into the ESC, and now we have the motors. And like I said, we're not going to be taking note of the ESC orientation here, because we're going to just swap the wires when they're going to the flight controller. So we would take, motor 2 here, the motor 2 wire, and we would put it to motor 1, because this is motor 1 right here. So that's how we're going to do it here. And here we have a 12-volt regulator right there. That's pretty cool. You can access it. Now, I'm debating whether to cut the wires exact or to keep a little extra slack, but I'm actually going to keep a little extra slack here. Alright guys, so now we're going to start soldering on the first motor here. And I'm not going to cut the wires, I'm going to keep them actually long now, just to give us a margin for error. If we ever needed to pull it out, we can. So tape will just clean that up for it, or just hold them just perfect for us, really. So here's one. And grab them in order. So in Betaflight, if we needed to switch anything, we should just be able just to switch to, and that'll be fine. See, we come back and hit these with more solder, like I mentioned earlier. Alright, perfect. So we have motor 1 here. It's going to be the same process for all of them, really. So here what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to use tape, and then we're just going to tape them in a nice way up here. We'll start maybe from here, and we'll work our way down. So yeah, that'll be pretty cool. Yeah, that should be totally fine. So that's going to be good. So I'm going to grab the other motors, because I need to find screws that are actually long enough, because these are 6mm arms, and these motors are, well, usually motors don't come for 6mm with screws that come for a 6mm arm. So I'm going to put those on real quick, and I'll be right back, and then I'll actually just solder the rest of them, and then we take it from there. Alright guys, so I got them all soldered in now. We got them all in, and we're going to be using tape to hold these down. However, I forgot we should have used heat shrink also, but that's totally fine. That's alright here. Let's check it out. So some things you have to take note of is when you put these standoffs on, you have to be very careful, because there's a tiny little baby capacitor that you're actually resistor that you're actually hitting. So I recommend what you do is you file down the bottom parts so these hard edges don't hit into it, and the more you flip it, it'll just pop it right off. So be careful. And here also it'll start hitting this coil, so just be very careful and gentle. Don't try to just get it to grab and then just get out and just leave it. So that's just a couple things to take note of here. Now what we're going to do is actually we're going to grab the flight controller, and they do provide you with the connection diagram paper, and we're going to take a quick look at it and then see how we are going to set it up now. So just give me a moment, let me prepare that for us. Alright guys, so here's the diagram, and it's a bit confusing, so let's just let's set it up in the correct orientation. So the paper, you're supposed to look at it like this, and the arrow is pointing that way. So let's do it like that. So there we go, and now we know where everything is. So what we're going to start with first is the motors, and as you can see here, motor 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5-volt in ground. So I believe this could be powered from this flight controller is going to be powered from here, or we can do it through here, but that's something different. Okay, so all right, that's VCC, that's the buzzer. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna apply power to these lines. We're gonna apply the signals here. So we have, as I see from right here, so here this bottom one is the S bus. So that would be S bus, 5 volt, ground. And then here we'd have motor 1, motor 2, motor 4. Why is it doing that? Let's just quickly double check everything. No, that's just wrong here. So this is actually giving us for this. So I see that, yeah, wow. That would have been a problem. So this is going up here. So I was right. So we do have motor 1, 2, 3, and then 4. And then we have motor 5 and 6 if you have another motors there, or if you damage any of these pins. And then the middle rail here is all 5 volt, and then this rail is all ground. All right, so that's cool. And then here we have this one. This, I'll explain this later. We don't need it just yet. And there's another step for S-bus here somewhere. There it is. So here's S-bus and PPM. So if we wanted to add S-bus, we would bridge these two, and then PPM, we would bridge these two. Now let's find them here because I haven't really looked for these just yet. Oh, there they are right there. So maybe if I zoom in, it's better. So as you can see, if we're going to use S-bus, we would bridge the top two, and if we're going to use PPM, we'd bridge the bottom two. So we're going to bridge the top two. Actually, let's do that now. So let's move the paper, and let's prepare everything for that. Okay. It's going to be a little bit tricky, so just be careful when you're doing it. I think there is already some solder on there. That's what it looks like. Yeah, that's what it seems like. So I'm gonna grab our little buddy here, and we should be very, very careful. And I recommend you actually flip your board this way if you're right-handed, because this way when you come in you don't risk hitting that if it's on this side. So for me this would be the best position. I don't risk damaging or hitting anything here. And there we go. That should be bridged. It doesn't seem like it bridged PPM, so we should be good to go here. That was simple. All right, so let's go back here. Now this is S-bus, and this is motor 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So here we're gonna need motor 1, and am I gonna use S-bus? I don't know, but we'll just add solder here for these guys anyways. So let's do that now actually, or let's grab the wire. All right, so let's scroll out. So we're gonna add solder to these pads now, and then we're gonna check over the ESC wires that are coming in, because we've changed the orientation of the ESC. So we can't just put, you know, what the directions of the ESC manual tells us to. Like if it says this wire is for motor 1, we can't put it to motor 1. We have to see where motor 1 is actually on our orientation there. So we're gonna have to check that out. This is S-bus. There we go. So now we have S-bus and then motors 1 through 4. And let's actually do the power. Let's leave the power for right now. And here we have a bunch of RSSI current. So our current reading is going to be on this side. Okay, LED, ground, VBAT. Channel 6, RX6, TX6. Doesn't make sense, but okay, sure, why not? All right. Let's do video in video. Actually, we're gonna keep them for right now. So now what we're gonna do is actually we're gonna grab the ESC manual and check its wiring diagram. So there we go. Let's actually move this up a little bit. And then we're gonna go like this. So this tells us the order of the connector here, and the colors are completely not the same colors here, but that's fine. So we're actually gonna grab the quad now. Okay, and we should do it like this because that's how exactly the same orientation we have it. And if we plug this in, which way does it plug in? Backwards. It never goes in the first time, never. All right, so we have them actually opposite. So this would be VBAT, as the thing says. The next one will be our current reading. So which would be what, blue here? Yes, blue. Okay, so this one's current reading. Come on. Okay. And the next one is green, which is ground. And then the next one is white, which is 5 volt. Okay, so we have those 5. Now we're left with motors 1, 2, 3, and 4, as you can see right here. So they start from the bottom. So yellow is 1, that's 2, that's 3, and that's 4. So these are the ones we're going to concentrate on right now. And we're going to come back to the other guys later on. So let's actually just wrap these around like this right now. They're silicone, so they're just awesome. All right, so we're going to take this one step at a time. So this is the back here, okay? So let's just do it like this. And here's the wires. All right, so motor 1 is here on our orientation, but on the ESC, motor 1 is here. All right, so we need this wire. What is this? So this is motor 1 on the correct Betaflight orientation, which is motor 2. So what we need to do now is we're going to grab motor 2 wire. Okay, where's motor 2 wire? Okay, one. It's this blue one. So this is motor 2 wire, and this is going to go actually to motor 1 on the flight controller. So let's grab the flight controller here. So that would go right there on motor 1, because the bottom one is S-bus. So that's where we would solder this guy right here. So on the ESC, he's considered motor 2, but in reality, this is our motor 1, and we just take the motor 2, and then we tell the flight controller, because the flight controller is going to be telling him what to do. So yeah, so the number's actually getting kind of confusing, but just take it one step at a time, and you'll figure it out. So I don't know how much slack I should leave in here. We should keep them kind of long to a point where it just goes up like this somehow, or maybe like this. I think that's good. So about here. So we're going to cut him about here. And we're going to actually solder him now to get him out of the way. So, and these, it's almost impossible to use a stripper with these, so. Stripper. I just noticed it. All right. There we go. Let's trim a little bit of this guy. About here. So there's a little technique I use. It doesn't always work, but when it works, it's awesome. What I do is I try to heat up the pad I try to heat up the pad just over here before the wire, and I try to stick it in. So I use the solder to guide the wire in the hole. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but when it works, it's just beautiful. And I think it worked beautifully. Yes, it worked beautifully. That's awesome. So right there. It kind of looks weird on camera, but in real life, it just looks great. So that was motor 1. Now motor 2, this is our motor 2. So what is this on the ESC? Motor 4. So we need to take wire motor 4 now, which is going to be this last guy. And we're going to stick them on the flight controller as motor 1. I mean motor 2. It's kind of getting a little bit confusing here with the speaking. So actually, why do I even do that? This goes in the front like this. So we're going to have a lot of extra wires here. Unless we just route it like this, then we're fine. Yeah, that's good like that. That's how we're going to do it. Alright, so like we said, we're going to need motor 4, and it's going to be motor 2. Because motor 4 on the ESC is this guy right here, and this is actually motor 2 for us. So, yeah. So, let's remove this first. It's kind of getting a little bit confusing here. And we're going to actually just bring it back this way to keep the same orientation, and it'll make everything a lot. So we're going to cut this guy now, and this is going to be our motor 2 on the flight controller. make sure you twist these. This is very important. This is one of the most important wires to twist here. You could literally chop your head off if something goes wrong. And I think these motors are, to be honest, are F60 rebranded, and the aluminum seems pretty stiff, so we can actually expect, and looking at the charts and readings for these motors, and I will put them later on my thrust stand and actually measure its torque and all that kind of good stuff. But it seems it's a rebranded T motor, but with better quality aluminum, because the old ones were just absolutely terrible. Okay, it's perfect. All right, so let's move this guy again now. So motor 1 here, we need wire for motor 1, and the wire for motor 1 is going to be this yellow guy right here. So it's going to be this first one here. This is our guy, and this is what motor, let's zoom out. Okay, so on the ESC this says it's motor 1, but on our orientation it's motor 3. So this is the wire from motor 1 on the ESC, and we're actually going to put this on motor 3 on the flight controller. 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, okay. Just double checking everything. All right. So as we said before, it's going to go to motor 3 here. Move these guys a little bit. And then we're going to push this guy in right there. So that's a bit too long here. Alright. See how it just went in? That's just beautiful. I love it when everything works out great. Alright, and obviously this last one, but we're just going to double check it. The last wire here. The last wire here is for motor 3, as you can see, because this guy goes here, then this is 3. Oh crap, yeah, that's correct, yes. Okay, and we have motor 3 left here. And this would be actually motor 4 on the flight controller. So this wire is going to go to motor 4 on the flight controller, or signal 4. I love silicone wires. They're just absolutely amazing. So we're just gonna add a little solder to this guy now. Perfect. Now motor 4 goes in. Perfect. So let's try it, and actually, oh no, we can't, this doesn't have power yet, so we're gonna see how we're gonna give the flight controller power now. Alright, so those are in, that's very good. What we can do is we can just wrap these around like this and make them nice and wrappy, and then when we put them in, bring it behind this guy and right there, and we should pull these guys a little bit more right there. That's perfect. See how clean that is now? That's it. So here, well, let's check out the paper now and see how we're going to apply power to the omnibus. And alright, okay, so we did these motor 1, 2, 3, 4, and we routed them correctly to our flight controller. Now we can see here 5 volt and ground. So but hold on. Okay, yeah, here's the 12 volt regulator they were talking about. All right, so 5 volt and ground. This is gonna power our flight controller, and the current will be giving the current reading to our flight controller. Oh, that's pretty awesome. Look at that. They even tell you where to put it on. Oh, that's cool. This is the ESC page. That's pretty sweet, actually. And we did it correct. Yeah, 4 is up there. Yeah, okay, good. All right, that's perfect. So here, look, that's it. They tell us where to put it. So what we do is we need to figure out, here's ground. So, oh no, we're gonna start with 5 volt. Where did they put 5 volt? Why did they put it there? Okay, well, I guess let's just do what they said to do, even though it works the other way also. So that was S-bus, correct? So this is by motor 4, and they put the 5 volt there. So let's just do the same thing here, really. Just double check, keep double checking these just in case. So it's right after motor 1. So let's check here, and if we look down here, this would have been motor 1, and the white one here is going to be that 5 volt they just showed us. So this one is going to connect. Well, really, it could connect on any of these rails, the middle part here, because it will all be connected. So if you just grab the multimeter and continuity and tested this whole line, it would be connected, and the other line would be connected except the signals here. So, okay, let's move this guy like this, and what we're going to do is, there we go. We're going to actually put them by motor 1 right here. So we don't really have to follow, and let's just kind of get the same length going, because it'll make it a little bit nicer since they're all going in the same area. All right, let's zoom in here. We're gonna add a little solder to the wire, and we're gonna trim it because it's pretty darn long here. Okay, so like we said, we're gonna add them. We can add them on any of these right here. So except the bottom one here, because this is gonna provide power to the receiver. So we're gonna put the receiver on this side here. So it could be any of these up here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the closest one to us, and should be good. So we're gonna add a little solder to it right now, and just be very careful. Luckily we have silicone wires, so that's awesome. Perfect. There we go. So in theory, now we've applied 5 volt, and I should have actually undone this before I did this, but that's fine. Who cares? Could just do some tape or something later on. Actually, we could just drop in a heat shrink. All right. Let's take another look at the paper now, just to double check everything. So the next one in line would be ground, and that's going to go where? Let's check the flight controller, set up same orientation they show us here, which is like this. Okay, and let's zoom in here so I can show you guys. All right, so we have ground, and it's going to go there. So it's going to go 1, 2, 3 to that one right there, and then okay. So ground is going to 1, 2, 3, which is going to be the third one here. Let's add a little solder there. There we go. So that's where the ground is going to go, which is the next wire in line coming from the ESC here, which is this green one right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to route it from the bottom. Okay. We're going to keep it kind of short this time. Okay. Add some solder. And let's stick him in. So this was ground from the ESC. And And it went in perfect. I think once you master this trick, it's pretty awesome because it's beautiful. The wire just goes straight inside. It's a little bit difficult. It doesn't always work for me, but when it does, it's just absolutely awesome. So far, we're having very good luck. All right, now let's just take another look at the paper here. I know it's getting annoying. So we have current now, as you can see here. Our next wire is current, and current is going to go one down to the left. All right, so one down to the left, and that's what we're going to do here. We're just going to add, and I know for sure now it's just those bottom two are going to need solder, so we're just going to put them right now and get it over with. So this one was for the current, and this one here is going to be for VBAT. All right, perfect. So next one is current, then it's VBAT. So this blue one right here, this is the next one in line. As you can see, if I remove the green one, you can see that this one's coming next in line right here. So yeah, as you can see right there. So this is going to be current, and this is going to provide the current reader to the OSD and the flight controller. So we're going to route this wire through here, and then we're going to come back up through here. I'm going to keep it fairly short. Perfect. Okay. It's too long here, as you can tell. We're going to trim it down so it stays kind of stiff this way when we try to put it through the hole while we're trying to guide it with the solder tip. So that's going to go right there. So I'm going to actually just move the orientation here a little bit so it makes it easier for me. Perfect. That went in beautifully. Now, last but not least, it is our VBAT. And VBAT's going to go right there next to him. So let's just route it also here. Cut this guy. Undo this guy. Twist him. I'm very excited for these motors in this frame, really. It just seems like a proper one. And especially the fact that it's a stretch X, and it's going to be one of my first stretch X's. My first 5-inch. I've had the 2-inch, the micro. That was also provided from iFlight. That one is just very fast. I'm supposed to upload the flight footage too, and it's ridiculously fast, actually. I'm calling it the battery puffer because it just annihilated all my batteries. But I had shitty batteries anyways. But, you know, it was just ridiculous. So, unbelievably fast. Alright, and is this the first time we don't work for us? No, it worked. It's good. There we go. Perfect. So, now, what we're going to do is, let's just add 2 standoffs here. And then we're going to try to actually arm it, or not arm it. We're going to actually put in a battery. We're basically done here. All we need to power is VTX camera, and just double check everything. This is going to need soft mounting, by the way. So I think it's going to need soft mounting, but we'll do that in a little bit. So let's grab a battery. Let's see whatever battery I have closest to me. Alright, here we go. So this is the 4S battery, and hopefully we don't have any smoke if I did everything correct, and hopefully everything will be fine. Yep, everything's perfect. That is awesome. Perfect. So there we go. That's very good. It's a good sign. Alright, so now maybe we have to do a little bit of wire management, but not yet. So we're gonna move these guys now, and I'm gonna remove this. That's what's so awesome about this here. See, now it's completely done here, but I should have done it a little bit different before, but that's fine. It's not a problem. We can figure out a way for it later. Yeah. Anyways, this I'll just keep on doing until I get it just perfect. But yeah. Anyways, we could even do it differently if we had to. We could even set it up like this. And we just set the orientation a little bit different, and it'll just be exactly the same. I just want the best wire management here for them. Yeah, that'd be very good. Right there. It's perfect, actually. Alright, anyways. Let's move this guy to the side now, and what we need to do is we need to connect our camera now. Alright guys, so I soldered on the camera, the VTX, and the receiver, and I'm going to show you what I did everything. So as you remember, we selected S-Bus here, and the S-Bus was right here, right below motor 1. So this is the yellow line, so this is iBus S-Bus. And then this rail would be the 5 volt, and that rail would be the ground. So as you can see right there, so that's all soldered in. And now if we look down here, we have two lines. One, this would be video in. The bottom one is video in, which is camera, which the camera goes in here. It'll go through the OSD and it'll pop up to the VTX. So the VTX is up here, so that's video out. So if we take a look here, as you can see, we put the camera here, video in, and the top one is video out, as you can see right up there. Okay. The same thing with the receiver. There was a signal, which is S-Bus, iBus I used, and then we have 5 volt and we have ground. That's how we gave it power. And this is where it meant to select our S-Bus or PPM. And we already selected S-Bus. Now, there's something to note. See this RAM. Now, this is kind of confusing here. So what this says is if you select it, this is the RAM right here. And let's go all the way up to RAM. And these are the RAM. So it says if you bridge the first and the second one, the power for the camera would be straight from the battery. So it would be the battery voltage giving these power. So what I did is I wanted 5 volts. So I bridged this one and RAM. And let me show you how I did that. And as you can see right here, hold on, right there. So this would be 5 volt down here. So these two would be 5 volt and these two would be the ground. So what I did is I just took power here, and for the power for the VTX, I didn't power it from the 5 volt. We have 12 volt on the ESC down here. So I gave it the 12 volt and I gave it the ground from here. And that should give us clean and nice video. However, I'm not going to install a low ESR capacitor because I want to see how good they are and if there is noise and if there isn't any noise. But it seems like a very good ESC, and I guess time will tell once we go fly it. So that's it. It's pretty simple here. So right now I have everything connected, and I'm using the new Runcam Swift 2, I think. Oh, where's the box? Yeah, so this one is up for review, kind of, so it'll be coming up soon after we test it. It seems very nice. The screws, they actually give you Allen keys and then they fit in perfect, unlike the Fox ears. So maybe this will be my new go-to camera. I'm not sure yet, but we will figure it out. So as you can see, we have the camera here, and if we bring the top plate, we have a lot of room up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use double-sided tape to stick my receiver right here, since I'm using the Turnigy Evolution, and these I don't have to bind every single one. And I just saw it right next to me, so I just picked it up. And I was going to use an X4R or XSR, but then I changed my mind. So let's get the tape here, and I've already bound it. And why did this happen like this? Alright. So let's cut this guy off. Okay, so we need just about enough. Can't find my scissors, so I'm gonna have to improvise with the wire cutters here. Alright, that's perfect. And then I'm gonna stick it up here, or sideways. I'm actually gonna put it sideways because I don't want these wires to hit anything, so sideways would be the best. So I think I'm just gonna put it like right there. It's gonna be perfect. Let's make sure this is holding good. And Right. So right there is just perfect. After a while, this is like glue, so this ain't coming off. So that's good. And we're gonna put this guy. Actually, we can't put him right here just yet. So we're gonna bring him up through here because we're gonna put the VTX on now. Let's drop the camera back in place. Let's put this guy here. These wires are all gonna have to go inside. All right. So let's grab our VTX now. So the VTX, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna use double sided tape to hold it here, and maybe one zip tie to just make sure it's secure. Usually these don't come off unless I go into a hard crash, but even then I just push up on the double sided tape and it just really holds it back perfect. So that's very good. There we go. Perfect. And we want to make sure we're going to be able to remove and don't have the antenna part hitting anything, so that's going to be good. Okay. All right. Sorry about that, camera died. So we got the VTX in place here, and now what we're going to do is we're just going to plug this guy back in here. And I think he goes in backwards. Forgot how he goes in. No, but I think it goes in like this. This one was actually giving me a difficult time when I was first putting it on. Yeah, there we go. That's why. Perfect. So we're gonna need some kind of wire management. I should have thought of that a little bit earlier. So I'm just gonna keep twisting them here. That usually does the trick. Bring this guy around this. I don't want them here. There we go. Now it's safe. All right, we have this guy in. We have all of them in. Put the camera in place. And then try to center everything now. So the camera's pulling on that. There we go. And voila. We have ourselves a very sexy looking beast here. Wow. So let's just add in 2 screws here to hold it all together. And we're going to try to go and turn it on. Alright, and there we go. It's actually very beautiful. Wow. That's just crazy. So this camera is going to help us find it if we land in bushes, since I never use buzzers. So let's try to plug it in, and 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Yay, that is awesome. All right, so I'm gonna clean up the area. I'm gonna set up some zip ties here, some tape on the motor wires, and then we are going to just look over the frame one last time and see how everything went. But it just looks beautiful. Man, it looks like a cheetah. I can't explain it. It's so sleek. It just looks crazy. Maybe if we used the black camera it would have been better, but I mean, who cares? I'd rather find it than make it look good. But wow. Obviously I'm not going to use this antenna, but yeah. I need to secure this a little bit better back there. So yeah, all right guys, so I'm going to clean up and just go over little final touches like tape around here and everything. I'll be right back. We'll take a look at it, and then we'll see how it went, and hopefully tomorrow or after tomorrow I'll take it for a flight and we see how everything goes. So all right guys, I'll be right back. All right guys, so here is the end result, and it's stunning. I mean, when you hold it in your hand, it just feels crazy, you know? It's just like, I don't know, I just can't explain it. it looks amazing. It's just absolutely drop dead gorgeous, and that's all I could really say right now. Tomorrow we're gonna take it out for a flight. I really can't wait to fly this guy. Usually I would wait 1 week. You know, I never arm them in the house, so I usually, once I take them out, it'll be the first time they're armed with propellers for a flight. So I never do hover tests in the house. So actually, I really can't wait to take this guy out. So I'm gonna go take him out tomorrow. I'm charging my batteries tonight, and we're gonna enjoy this guy. This is just gonna be insane. I think. I hope so. It's looking like a beast. So I don't know if the camera's doing it justice here, but it's just unbelievable. It's just so sleek. It's like a leopard. I don't know. It's just like an exotic race car. So it's pretty awesome. And as you can see, I just used tape around here, and that'll save my motors and wires and my ESC from catching anywhere. And it's very good. So it's very light as well. So yeah, let's check out the end weight result here. All right, so let's turn it on. Okay, there we go. All right, so now we have him with basically everything except the battery strap and propellers. 339, he's a bit on the heavy side. For example, let's take this guy, 339. How much does this guy weigh? 378. So yeah, that's quite a difference there. And another example, let's see what we can find here. So couldn't find any more quads around me right now, but this guy should perform, and it should be absolutely, hopefully, amazing, since it's rocking 2207 motors, so that's crazy. And these are 2206, so we're just gonna have to wait and see. The stack looks beautiful, and I forgot to tell you guys, I used rubber dampeners here, and that should keep us from any bad vibrations here. And that's all I can really say, guys, and I really hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you guys have any questions or any suggestions, feel free to let me know, and hopefully I'll be taking this guy out tomorrow for a flight, and we could see how he performs and how he flies, and I have high hopes for this guy. So see you guys, take care.